kids. Yeah, they kind of insist on it. Mm, I mean, was there an F? It seems alive on my screen, but I'm not actually watching the stream. I have chat open, and chat sometimes is still alive when the stream is F. But looks like we're back. I've heard that the Caracan should only be played by players above 2000, as the positional subtleties are too hard for lower-rated players to understand. I am not sure it's true about any opening, honestly. It's a question of putting the hours in. You can definitely get adjusted to the strategic points of most. Like, you would not be, a world-renowned specialist in the opening, but I don't think you can just completely, outlaw any opening for players under a certain rating. That would be a sad thought to me.
I think the Caro can be played at any level.
Crunchy or creamy peanut butter? I actually don't do peanut butter at all, so I don't have an opinion. And like when I think of peanut butter, it's creamy. I don't think I've ever had crunchy. So
bye guys, see you tomorrow.
I don't know what prompted that, but I am extremely apologetic. Nobody wanted that. Are you team crunchy? I don't know what.
There is no team creamy. It's just wrong.
I'm not exactly team creamy. I've just never had crunchy, as mentioned.
I usually don't get into food arguments. Like milk, I understand. It's a personal choice. People don't like to talk about it in public. And they're somewhat embarrassed to admit that deep down they know that barista oat is by far the best milk or milk adjacent product, but creamy or crunchy peanut butter, I don't know. It's just so obvious to me. Anyone with a moral compass should see clearly there too.
I definitely like crunchy things.
Makes me mad. Sorry. I didn't mean to get all political.
Fair enough. Don't really, have a dog in that fight. I don't eat peanut butter. Never really had peanut butter, in the house when I was growing up, and we never bought any for our kids either. So it's not a very, Russian delicacy. We do condensed milk around here, around these parts. And, for proper aristocracy, there is boiled condensed milk.
Do you have condensed barista oat?
Probably not. I mean, I've never done any research. I wouldn't be surprised if such a thing existed, but not my particular field of expertise.
It's not too late.
No peanut butter and just a house of empty matchboxes to play with. Yeah, you're describing it to a T, Dodgy. As they actually used to say when I was growing up, there was this saying, hard childhood, wooden toys. So yeah, compared to my childhood of specifically empty matchboxes and nothing else, wooden toys is an unattainable dream.
Haven't we come full circle on the wooden toys?
Pretty much, yeah. I think they're back in vogue now.
Bullet is also back in vogue. The last portion of this match has just begun. Magnus Carlsen with a commanding lead. And the 1+1 section should not change that. Artemiev will have to win pretty much all the games to have a chance, which is just not happening.
Yeah, I think we all know how it goes when Magnus is 10-5 up after the blitz portions and with the 1-1 section ahead. He is a extremely strong bullet player, so yeah, you don't really give him 5 points odds before the start of the bullet. I bet Peter has opinions on David Foster Wallace. Yeah, I have that book on my nightstand. It has been on my nightstand for the past 5 years. I don't think I'm ever touching it. Honestly, I'm too scared. Which is not happening.
Is he dead?
Who? David Foster Wallace? No,
Wallace.
I think he is still around.
Okay. Just checking.
But I have read a book.
I thought. Yeah.
He is the. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's. And apparently it's not a particularly cheerful subject either. I was not.
Yeah, no, there was something wrong.
Yeah, but apparently I did read a book which was compared by somebody whose literary taste I sort of trust to David Foster Wallace, which is a book called All the Wrong Moves. On the topic of being addicted to chess and chess addiction from a standpoint of somebody who is not very good but loves the game unreservedly.
Speaking of all the wrong moves, Carlsen has gotten into trouble here after rook f8. Nice little combination.
Yeah, knight e4 check is very clever. He's still worse, but he would have been in more trouble if he didn't spot that. I have actually read Gravity's Rainbow, but I can't say much has registered with me. Like I need to start reading in a more thoughtful manner because things just don't stick with me. But I did read it.
There's a debate who's more well-read. Peter is way more well-read than me by virtue of reading. When it comes to trash TV, though, I'm way more, what's the word? More watched?
Possibly, yeah. It's unclear.
Should be a term.
Yeah, Vlad is actually
And of course, poker books. I did read poker books. Peter hasn't.
Yeah. I have a kind of a low blow here available to me, which I will refrain from making, maybe. Or maybe I won't refrain from making it. I don't know. I'm still undecided. Depending on how mean you are to me in the next 5 minutes.
Wow. Now I kind of want to know, but I'm also afraid.
Yeah, well, I mean, you said you actually read some poker books, so there's an obvious comeback to that, right? Not only did you read them, you also wrote some.
That is true, yeah. I'm the Pamela Anderson of book writing. That doesn't make any sense.
In what? Yeah, I was going to ask.
We both wrote more books than we read.
Yeah, they used to say that about Brezhnev. So you can choose whether you want to be Pamela Anderson or Brezhnev of book writing.
I think I'll go with Pam.
Yeah, I think I had a feeling you will stick with your original choice there.
Finally, some Grunfeld. What's going on here? Knight d2 is fashionable, right?
I think bishop takes d2 is slightly more fashionable, but knight d2 also exists. Yeah, supposed to be fine-ish for black, I think, but not without its perils. I'll be watching this with great interest because I have a feeling I might have to cover this position for the course, and having a bit of a clue on what Magnus thinks about it is going to be quite valuable.
Because we've seen Magnus has been playing nothing but cutting-edge theory throughout this match. Rook e7, computer does not agree with the world champion here.
Yeah, I guess bishop d7 is a bit of an issue. Yeah, this rook might never actually get back home. Yeah, I mean, if he just decides to, I mean, I'm not suggesting that will sound a lot more incendiary than it is meant in. But like if Magnus loses the first three, and this particular game for now appears somewhat self-inflicted, honestly, White is not really supposed to be trying to equalize in bishop b3 Grunfelds when the queens come off. Although
it's only 10-6, and he's worse. Is he worse?
Maybe not anymore. Yeah, I think maybe Vlad did not pick up the exchange in the most optimal manner. This pawn on d7.
Should have hated bishop f6. We're being told here. Could be. Rook e7. Hang on, isn't?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Also bishop d6. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Vlad is doing. Yeah. And now White is probably just better because that pawn on d7 will survive regardless of, maybe not entirely regardless of what you're doing, but Bishop g3. Maybe black makes a draw, but it's going to be an uphill struggle even to make that draw, and that is not much fun considering that Magnus quite clearly did something quite questionable early on. Yeah, this is probably just bad now.
Oh yeah. b3, rook b5, and then the a-pawn runs. No, so he has to defend this.
This is not good. Yeah, I think you end up losing this, even if it is holdable to begin with. You still end up losing this in a blitz game or a bullet game. Yeah, you just eventually you blunder something and the position collapses. Yeah, h5 check is a bit of a threat. So maybe Magnus actually managed to misplay it to such an extent that now he has to trade pieces. That's very clever by Vlad. Actually, you can't keep the pawn on
d7 alive. Rook h3 you can do it.
Oh yeah, rook h3 is quite clever. Yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah, this is a draw now, I assume.
Now it's a draw.
Yeah, king e7 and then bishop c7 was also very efficient. But yeah, now the king on h5 has no squares. Yeah, it's just a very easy draw. Not even going king e7 there. I don't know why. Yeah, Magnus does play this just to, I guess just to finish the game. Obviously, we're not trying to win or anything.
He doesn't seem very concerned about keeping the game going as long as possible. Maybe he is.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think +4 and with no real indication that he is in any trouble, he is not going to, artificially inflate games here. No real need to.
Queen a5 check.
Yeah, no idea. It's the new fad Magnus is trying to promote. Yeah, these weird, let's give you a tempo for no reason checks. I guess in order to play e6 here, I guess that's
made some sense. But if you really want the queen out of the way,
yeah,
I guess there's some logic to it, actually.
No, I actually was on the verge of asking you, and then they started playing, and I never had any time to return to that topic. I was
good. B4. If the queen takes, the rook recaptures and grabs the b7 pawn. So Magnus Carlsen just retreats quietly. Queen b3. Artemiev trying to use the semi-open file, but Carlsen gets his queen out of the way. Knight a4 intending knight c5 is possible, but black could just meet it by b6. So Svidler Artemiev plays knight e2, a4 g3. Carlsen stops it by going knight f5, and here comes b5, the so-called minority attack. But will it lead to any weaknesses? Black knight on d6, skipping the position. Well defended, queen b4, queen b6. Carlsen has equalized here, no particular problems.
Probably slightly better for black, maybe even if all the rooks come off. Yeah, no issues and more time on the clock as well. So.
Seen any good movies recently?
Not in a while, no. Have I even watched any movies recently? I've been catching up on my TV backlog. Let me check what my movies directory.
Are you on Letterboxd?
What is that?
It's a platform where you can track what movies you watched and rate them, and people can follow you, and then we can approve of your ratings or disagree with them.
No, I'm not, and also it doesn't seem like I watched much in a way of.
Yeah, the what is that question sort of gave away. You probably weren't. Magnus Carlsen going for b5, b4 here, fearlessly weakening the c5 square in order to grab more space on the queen side and build a potential passed pawn. Now f6 to kick this knight not only away, but also away from the defense of the d3 pawn. He takes a pawn. White still has some activity and a potential knight on 7.
Quite a lot of activity, actually. Knight f4 coming next. Yeah, this is a sharp position. Yeah, judging by the fact that of the movies I've watched, the only one I appear to have saved for potential rewatching is Burning, which I've watched maybe a year and a half ago. Yeah, it's not been a particularly productive year for me.
Also, I told you to watch Burning, so
yeah, I'm
that recommendation does not help me at all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm still very grateful to you because yeah, that was one of the best things I've seen in a
That was
long
very
while. Yeah.
generous of me to share that knowledge about burning.
Yeah, Artemiev is winning again, but probably not going to
I think he's
be
going to win.
enough.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Match.
Yeah, this one he probably does win. Although, yeah, it gets kind of touch and go somewhere around, like knight h4, queen e4 though. Yeah, queen d4 is maybe a strong move. Hang on.
Did you ever see the movie Constantine, Peter? Oh, this is too exciting. Sorry, I'll ask about Constantine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you believe what you just said. Yeah, but this is now very much a game. I have watched Constantine maybe even more than once by mistake.
Wow. Free will?
Is that a question whether I watched Constantine out of my free will or?
Yes.
Yes. At least, I mean, for the first time, definitely. Yeah. I actually kind of like this genre of kind of good, bad movies, or, I mean, for given value of good, obviously.
It's interesting because our dear friend Rustam Kazimchanov has watched Constantine 27 times and he's not done.
Yeah, it's a known phenomenon. Like recently I've stumbled across an article praising Demolition Man as
it's a great movie.
As a hugely underrated movie.
Constantine with Demolition Man.
And Zoltan Almashi, when he was much younger, I think watched Demolition Man something like 40 times.
That makes perfect sense to me.
I don't know if he's still watching Demolition Man, but he definitely used to watch it at every opportunity. Still +4 for Magnus, and the time is running out. Somewhat.
Time is running out. Queen c7. We are playing another version of the Karlspad structure, this time via the Caro-Kann. This is a dangerous system, especially these early h3s recently have caught up a lot of momentum. E6, bishop d6 is also what Fedoseev likes to do in such structures. It looks ugly to me, but it seems like they've done their homework and concluded.
I've seen this before, but I'm still extremely surprised by this idea that you can go knight a3 and black doesn't take.
Kids and their knights these days.
Yeah, kids these days is
Isn't this just horrible for black, though?
This I don't like at all. Yeah, I have no idea why you would do this to yourself. I'm guessing this keeps pieces on the board and generates a position where you can pretend you have an attack on the king side, but yeah, you're mainly pretending.
G4. Desperate. Magnus calculating b5, gh3. If h3, bishop e5, d, knight g4 is the intention, and b5 plate, I'm assuming he will just take.
Yeah, this is all very confusing. I wouldn't have guessed more or less any of the last few moves. But now white appears to be very much back in control, because if you have to take on e5 to win back the g4 pawn, then you will have to trade queens, and that endgame is extremely cheerless. In fact, the knight on g4 just gets caught in the end of that line. Yeah, it's just probably lost for black. Yeah. Not good. Not good at all. Just a completely lost endgame now for black. Yeah, rook c1. Yeah, you might as well just wrap things up here and go next. Go next. Life is peaceful there.
I think they might have changed the lyrics in your neck of the woods.
Possibly, yeah. Although it was kind of, when that came out, there was definitely a bit of titillation going on, because people weren't very used to the idea of the him being treated that way.
Carlsen wins another game. The score, speaks a clear language.
Yeah, back to 1b3, and Magnus showing how it's done by pushing bishop b5 e4. I was not really aware that was an option. I'm learning all kinds of things about 1b3 today. Bishop takes h2 potentially is already a threat for all we know, so you have to be careful.
This is all theory. And h5 is what the cool kids do, sacrificing a pawn, but saying, I have bishops. He does have bishops.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure why not f5